Welcome everybody to Street Sounds and Starcraft. I'm here with Bob, aka fiatjaf. Welcome.
aka Ruben Sonson.
Oh yeah, no, I'm Ruben Thompson. We gotta do this again. I'm fake Ruben Thompson. You are fake Brian, stuck in the middle of a street.
That's my home.
That's your home. It's fake Brian is a troll. He lives under the bridge. We're gonna watch a game of Starcraft between me and fiatjaf. And we're
I'm Darren.
no. It says on the screen that you are green. You cannot really get away from this. We're at zero seconds, and I already spent my minerals building an SCV, and Fiat just hasn't done anything. You can see he just
Really?
hasn't done anything yet. I already spent my minerals and sent away my SCVs. So okay,
Too
let's
much
go.
better. That's what decided the game.
Yeah, I think so. It was already done. All right, now so I've never done the observing thing before.
Yeah, as you can see,
It's like
you're very bad at it.
yes, I'm very good mannered because I said good luck, have fun, and there was
I was very busy
Zero.
trying to control my probes. I didn't have time.
you needed 180 actions per minute to control your probes.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so did you watch the live stream of the what was it, adopting Bitcoin?
No, I didn't. I didn't know this thing was happening already.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't necessarily aware of it, but somebody sent a link of the live stream, and I think it was Peter Todd, Giacomo Succo, and John Cavaro. Is that his name?
What were they saying?
I don't know. I don't necessarily know what
RBF stuff.
Yeah, it was sidechains, RBF. I think at least the panel was interesting enough to rewatch it, because one of the things that they mentioned that I still have to think about was in relation to burn chains. So if you burn coins to join the sidechain, generally I think that's a terrible, stupid, idiotic, retarded idea.
You think?
Yeah. But
Why? Okay.
why the fuck would you burn coins? But one thing that they mentioned is like, it might actually be a way to do a hard fork.
Oh,
So
this
that
idea is old.
yeah, but
Yeah, it doesn't work. Doesn't work. Doesn't work.
yeah, I mean, I at least it's intriguing.
Yeah. Many things are intriguing, but it will never work in practice. Who
Uh,
would be the first person to burn the coins? You only burn the coins if you're very sure that the hard fork will happen.
yeah, sure, okay, but then
That's
I
what
don't.
the
I
Ethereum 2 people did. Like they burned the coins, sending them to the Ethereum 2 chain.
what is
But that's
Ethereum 2?
because
Oh, right,
the proof of stake chain.
the beacon chain thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they did it, right?
they did it, but everybody knows that it would happen because the protocol has a few
Yeah,
people that
okay,
control it.
fair enough. So, but
If you could do that on Bitcoin, you wouldn't need this fancy burn coin thing. You could just upgrade the clients. Your SCV stopped there, as you can see.
yeah, it's idle, but now it's working again. And you have an idle probe here, so
I'm
You're
giving
not-
you a chance.
you're not the one to speak. You also could have built that Nexus a long time ago, but okay, there you go.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a problem.
But I don't even think that's the issue. You generally won't get around the proof of work problem. I think the transition in terms of proof of work is more important than like whether people are going to move their UTXOs or not. Like let's say if you
Are you going to transition to another proof of work mechanism? What is that?
no this
Is that what you're talking about? You're
even
talking
if-
about Ethereum.
if it's even if it's the same, right? Okay, so let's say we let's take the concrete example of proposition of the actual hard fork we still have to do, right? So we're still gonna have to do a hard fork because of the timestamp bug.
But that's easy. That's easy.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well.
it's very easy hard fork because
Yeah.
you can just make a client that is fixed, and people will be forced to switch to it because their
Eventually.
client will stop working.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's true.
they don't have the option to continue.
Okay, but now we're gonna. That's okay. So that's fair. Okay, that's okay. That's a fair point. Let's just continue on on that thread because personally, I think there's reason to fix Bitcoin and that I don't know to what extent we actually need to do it, but I think it would be very wise to do it, though I don't think there is any practical means to do it. But hear me out. The problem with Bitcoin is that there is no specification, right? The code is the specification.
Yes.
Yes. So I would argue that this is actually a point if you want to run this software system for decades and decades and ages and into the infinite future.
That's a problem, right?
Yeah.
That's
like having some shitty spaghetti C++ clusterfuck buck for buck compliant bullshit is for stuff
it will
that
always be like that. Even if you had if you could have a specification, but still the code would be what matters.
Because not if you don't specify it in software, but you specify it in formal logic.
You specify it in formal logic, but then everybody implements it in some way.
Yes.
And that's what counts. Even if everybody's wrong.
No, okay. So if you specify it in formal logic, then still people have to write implementations that are in software. I agree.
Yes.
But what you will generally end up in are basically emulators. People are going to have to write emulators in order to run the specified logic. They're not going to be very efficient machines, right? Or it's not going to be efficient code necessarily, depending on what software you're writing it in. But I reckon it's possible to just write an emulator in any type of programming language, and then within the emulator, be actually compliant to the specified logic, right? Because there's no ambiguity to formal logic.
Well, there's no ambiguity to programs, true.
No, there is because there is because it's not because there is
not pure logic.
No, because there's a compiler between the code and the actual what is it machine
very good, right?
Machine language.
Yeah, I don't understand these topics, but there are these languages that you can use to write pure logic stuff, and they run they run programs.
Sure. So I think you have stuff like verifiable C.
No, there's those ones. I forgot the names, but there are many. That you just write is just like a very functional language. There is basically pure math.
Oh yes. Okay. Functional programming languages.
No.
Not necessarily. Okay. So just programming languages for formal logic.
You know that Coq. I think Coq is the most famous one.
Okay. No, I don't know. In any event, but to get back to my point is then you would then you have a specification of Bitcoin, which in itself is not it's a completely unambiguous specification because it's defined in formal logic what the thing is. There is no ambiguity anymore, and then it's future-proofed in the sense that you can rewrite it over and over and over again, and you can test your program for if it's actually compliant because you just use the older one and then you can test it, right? Am I saying weird stuff here?
No, I'm just watching the game actually and seeing that I have 20 probes. I thought I had a good number of probes, and I'm just dying to the tank that's up on the hill. Okay, this game is a very bad game.
Yeah, I agree. So the biggest problem is, did we miss it already? I think we missed it already. I think you could have killed me like earlier. I
No,
want
no.
to go back.
If you wanna make a
No, okay. So
like
now
to
I've got
be
the mines in the
going,
tank, but I think a bit earlier you already
there's no
had the
chance.
goons. Okay, here. No, I already have the mines. Never mind. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I couldn't have killed you ever.
No,
Okay.
there is a point where I thought like, okay, if you just attack now, I'd be dead. But maybe it's not this one. Okay, whatever. So and also it's so that's my idea, right? I personally, so I know that they changed it in Bitcoin Core to the version numbering, because now no longer it's 0 point stuff. It's actually they removed the 0.
Mhm.
I really dislike that.
That's irrelevant.
No, it's not irrelevant because what I'm proposing is actually Bitcoin 1.0. And
And never change it.
there's never gonna be a 1.1. There's just Bitcoin 1.0, and that's Bitcoin. So we needed all
But
the
they will never
0
change
points.
anything ever.
What?
They will never change anything ever
It,
again.
no. Why would you change anything to the consensus engine? Because that's the only
No, you
thing
can.
you need to specify, right? You need to, because that's currently, because Bitcoin was written like as a monolithic piece of code. They have a very hard time to split it up. And this idea of creating this consensus engine of just getting out all the consensus critical parts and just putting that into one module instead of having like monolithic all over the place. That's a very old idea, but it doesn't really seem to be. No one really seems to be working at it.
Mm.
But if you have that, then you don't necessarily need to change the consensus core anymore, unless we're stupid enough to get something like a timestamp bug into it.
Yeah, I don't. I think these are like dreams, long distance dreams that never happen. Like
But the
the odds
problem
of
is
these
we're
things happening are much smaller than drive chain.
no, but the thing is, fuck drive chain. We're not gonna
You
talk
don't like
about.
drive chain? You don't
I
like drive chain?
I think any sidechain proposal is wholly uninteresting to me,
Why? Why?
because I think it's the wrong way of. Okay, so
How do you scale Bitcoin? You're
in
you're
it's
talking about mathematical purity.
yes.
I'm more worried about practical things. Like I want to scale Bitcoin.
Okay, so
Although maybe that's not a problem.
to
Okay.
finish up the previous topic, I get what you're saying. The problem is that if Bitcoin is this thing that gonna has to run for decades and decades and centuries, you are gonna have to think about stuff on that time scale.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
I actually I don't I never thought Bitcoin would last centuries and centuries, but maybe that's a thing we should consider.
I would argue if it doesn't, then it wasn't worth it. If it's not gonna last at least 100 years, and I think that's a low bar,
Yeah,
then it
I
was
think
a total.
100 years
That's a
is
total.
already fine for me.
No, that's a total fucking waste of time, dude. Imagine, look, we're still in boot. We're still starting this system up. We're still running the distribution logic thing of putting BTC into blocks as the block subsidy. We're still in this price discovery bullshit. We're still distributing the coins. There's this fucking mining infrastructure is we've gone through the harshest part of this iteration of catching up of 35 years of hardware innovation within a time span of 6 years, where we
Yeah,
iterated the hardware every fucking 6 months or so. I mean, we're doing
yeah,
all
I
this
see your point.
fucking work in order to
Yeah, it must work.
bootstrap this system, And then it was like, oh yeah, but it's only gonna last 5 years. But you know, it's been fun. I mean, I bought the
No,
bottom, I sold the
5 years
top.
is
It was a good pump
no,
and dump. I got my
that's
money.
not
I
what I
got my
mean.
Lambo. Fuck this shit, right? It's been a fucking waste. If it's not.
Well, what I imagine is that Bitcoin has to destroy all the central banks and all the monies in the world. After that, I think there may some other thing may happen. I don't know, but Bitcoin has done the job. But yeah, if Bitcoin lasts more, well, it's better, right? Uh, but I think 1 century, like 100 years, is the least. I agree with you. I agree with you. I just didn't consider it ever that it would last like 200 years. That's a lot. I can't imagine.
Yes, but is it a lot? I mean, the thing is that the distribution of Bitcoin itself is gonna take generations, because there are a lot of people with a lot of Bitcoin now. They gotta die. There's gonna be their children has to inherit it. Then in the third generation of those, if of the grandchildren, there's gonna be some assholes who are gonna waste their money on whores and cocaine, right? It's it's gonna
Yeah,
take fucking generations before that BTC is gonna flow in any reasonable amount or sense among the world population. Although I have to admit that the current Bitcoin distribution is doing a lot better than I expected. So maybe I'm actually wrong on this and it's going a lot faster.
mm,
Because I think it was 2 years ago some study that said that I think it's the Gini coefficient of Bitcoin was similar to that of the dollar. And not that the dollar is good. The dollar's probably fucking shit in terms of distribution, but um, it also relates to what you expect, right? Because you would expect a power law distribution. But then if
uh, but can't like we need this distribution to occur? Like, can't we just use whatever we have today? And these people that have
no, because it's
eighty
okay.
percent
So
of the
it's a
supply, they can just keep whatever they
no,
have.
because
And
this is the thing. This is like okay. I love this moment, by the way. I love this moment. So you come up, you think I have only a shit bunch of units. I do this SCV drill.
yeah,
You get fucked. Is
that
there
was
any
the
tank
time
here?
I realized
There's not even
you
a
were a
tank
pro.
here. You're getting owned. That was amazing. Can we watch it again? I love that part.
No, no,
Yes, we're gonna
stop it.
watch it again.
It's bad.
That was amazing. Um, so you,
You shouldn't be happy about beating me. I'm the worst player to ever have played this game.
I
I lose
just
to
love that
computer.
engagement. The
Yeah, that was very good because the SCV drill was very good.
It was lucky in terms of the timing because okay, look, I
Yeah,
already sent it. I already fucking sent them before you even made your move. Ooh, that was that was painful as well. Okay, so the goons were already just messy. Look at them. And
yeah.
another.
This map did really favor you. All these choke points and bridges,
Yeah,
and
so I agree because
that's why I lost.
I agree. I didn't necessarily know this map. I wasn't completely unfamiliar about it, but now looking at it from a term perspective, it's actually really doable because your push ultimately I did what you should do, I think. So we'll get to see it eventually. But yeah, I think
This
as a
game is
term
not
player,
even worth
it's
commenting.
yeah, as a term player, it's I think I like this map against Protoss. So you can fuck yourself. Um. So, in terms of the distribution thing, I don't know what the distribution is of gold right now in the world. That would be very interesting.
So
Um.
what I said is we can just use whatever we have, like whatever is distributed or whatever is on people that
Yes,
is
but
the
that's not
people
how
that.
economics works, right? Because then you get really. So then, that's still an open question in regards to Bitcoin as a monetary standard in relation to economics. Is that Bitcoin is global. There are no time or space limitations in relation to Bitcoin, but there are time and space restrictions in regards to economies. So the economies are very much bound to time and space as to where the resources are, what the geography is like in order to move those resources. So if you look like the Mediterranean, for example, is it looking from an economic perspective, the Mediterranean Sea is one system. That's because the Mediterranean Sea is like a highway. It's very easy to transport goods over the Mediterranean because it's very easy to transport goods on ships anyway, because it's not necessarily fast, but it's easy to load a shit ton of stuff onto a boat. More than you can put on a cart anyway. And then it might not go fast, but you'll get there eventually. So the latency is higher, but the throughput is massive. So in terms of economies, there is this locality thing going on. And then if for instance, most of the Bitcoin is in the United States, let's say, and now we're gonna adopt Bitcoin, and you are here in little old Brazil, and you're basically one of the only people with a bunch of Bitcoin, and maybe the other Brazilians have only a few Satoshis. Then in terms of purchasing power, just America owns everything. So who's going to commit politically to a Bitcoin standard?
Is what matters.
What did you say?
The production is what matters. Like whatever the Americans are consuming, that they're buying from the Brazilians, they will pay with Bitcoin, and that Bitcoin will eventually move more to Brazil. Like
yes,
the Brazilians will be incentivized to produce.
I agree.
Stuff. And
I agree.
To the United States.
So this is also something interesting, is that if we're thinking about this Bitcoin standard, we're moving towards. I've never seen any further analysis on this stuff, and it was one of the first things that I identified, or the hypothesis that I formulated, was that we're going into mercantilism. So this idea of a mercantile economy is, in the short of it, from a monetary perspective, is that there is this limited pie because there's gold. So the goal of your national economy is to import raw goods, add value through manufacturing, and then export.
That's not what I was trying to say. That's not what I was trying to say. I was trying to say that the distribution would happen naturally. And
yes, but it would take time, right? So we can.
But it doesn't matter.
Yes, it does matter. Because just because you're getting into a better state, right? I would agree if you say, well, let's say America has all the Bitcoin, then over time it will have to sell that Bitcoin in order to acquire goods, etc.
All the Bitcoins in Brazil, or a worse country, like a country that is purer than.
Then North Korea.
North Korea, no, because they don't trade. But yeah, I don't know. Nicaragua. All the Bitcoins in Nicaragua, because Satoshi was from there and he gave Bitcoin to his friends. Whatever, doesn't matter. And then the world adopts Bitcoin. What happens now?
Yes, but
is the United States very screwed because of that? And now Nicaragua is.
The United States probably will just go to war to Nicaragua and confiscate the Bitcoin.
You can't change the example.
That's what's gonna happen. I mean, all these Bitcoiners say, yeah, Bitcoin's gonna stop war, blah blah blah. Go fuck yourself. Why would it stop war? Yeah, because you can't finance war. Dude, war's profitable as fuck. Why do you think people you think they went to war for just for
I think you're very wrong.
For lols? Lols, we're gonna go to war just because it's gonna cost us a lot of money, but fuck that shit. We're just gonna go.
Profitable for the people that are making the war.
Yes, but there's profit for people winning the war and financing the war. So later it was financing, but it's also profitable for people winning the war. Now war has changed a lot. War and war dynamics have changed a lot. So it might not as true necessarily now because everything is interconnected.
The Roman Empire did print a lot of money to be able to go to war with
okay,
everybody.
But the Roman Empire became the Roman Empire in the fucking first place by fucking waging war. Otherwise, it would have been simple simp beta Rome forever. Then it wasn't the Roman Empire.
Well, I don't know about how in the beginning they didn't do it with it was self-defense, right?
No. What the Romans did, in their own fucking origin story, they went to the city next door. They they took all their women. They took all the women from the city next door and took them as wives. And then then those people, they got mad, so the men, they came, and then when they came around, those women was like, no, we actually like it here. And that's how Rome became a thing.
Yeah.
Also, one side note to so this, I can contain you on this bridge very easily, and then I can just move here and push here, and then cut off your third.
If I had some ability, I shouldn't have allowed you to reach this point. And if you did, I should have some arbiters or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
But I didn't have. I couldn't. I don't know how to play this game.
Also, I like the fact that there was a shuttle here for like ages with a Reaver you never used because I already put up turrets.
Yeah. You put a lot of turrets.
I initially put up the turrets because I thought I was like, he's going to do Dark Templar. He's a shitty Protoss player.
I'm trying to learn how to play. I'm not going to just make a lot of cheese.
I think Artosis is gonna like you. A Protoss player that wants to learn how to play and not gonna make DTs.
I should make more DTs if that's my superpower.
Oh no, because I'm gonna make turrets every fucking single game because I don't want to die to DT. I hate playing versus Protoss. It's so annoying. At the start of the game, it's like, okay, I need to make sure I'm not gonna die against DT. Need to make sure I don't die against Reavers. I need to make sure I don't die against a whole bunch of Dragoons in my base. It's so annoying.
That's the same when I play against Zerg. Yeah. Zerg has a million ways to kill you in the beginning.
Do they?
Actually, yeah. They can do a Zerg rush. They can do Mutalisk. They can do
Hydra
everything.
Bust.
Will die you. Hydra Bust. They can kill you all the time.
Okay, maybe that's fair.
So I don't know. I was going to say that the Roman Empire did fuck his money, and eventually that's probably why they collapsed, because the money was fucked because of the many wars. But since you said they became the Roman Empire with wars, I think that's because in the beginning the wars were paying for themselves because they were just conquering a lot of rich places with a lot of valuable stuff in these places.
Yep.
So the wars were paying for themselves, and they took a lot of slaves and stuff.
Yep.
But in the following years, like after everything is conquered, there's not the wars. They're not worth anymore.
Yeah,
they still keep doing. Everybody keeps doing.
Sure, because there are diminishing returns on war, and there's there's civilizational decay in terms of decadency and all that kind of shit. There are a million reasons why the Roman Empire collapsed, right? But
yeah, the Roman Empire collapsing was a good thing. I don't know why people lament this. Like, it was a very good thing.
We lost the recipes for concrete.
Did they know how to do concrete?
The Romans did, yeah.
What else did they know that we lost?
They built skyscrapers.
No, they didn't. Okay. Bitcoin
no, they didn't build skyscrapers, but they built flats, or apartment buildings.
Yeah.
And they lost. We lost the recipe of how to make the concrete and the roads and stuff. So a lot of the technology and engineering got lost.
And if they hadn't collapsed, we would be living in a world empire controlled by the people that inherited it from the Romans.
Probably. No, you never know. Okay, so it's hard to. They were maybe they were close to getting to the industrial revolution.
Maybe.
In terms of engineering, they could have gotten there, I guess, eventually. But there are a lot of reasons as to why you wouldn't get there. Also, going off of the fact that how we got there in the first place, in England. it's fascinating stuff. But to get back on, because I think we have to take 2 steps back to get to where we started, because it was war.
Drive chain.
Right.
Burning coins. Why don't you like burning coins?
Because okay, so it's so fucking retarded. It's a why burn the unit? Why destroy the we have a system to have an accounting of these things, and then you do the most stupid thing, this time off accounting action of saying we destroy it. And that's all you do with it. You could have done accounting and smart contracts on those satoshis a zillion times through the centuries that this thing is gonna run. And what you're gonna do? You're gonna burn them. It's like, no, we're just gonna do one action. We're just gonna do one action, and that action doesn't necessarily mean anything either, right?
Yeah, I don't like burning either, but I don't know. I don't think I have an argument against it. I just don't like it. And your arguments are flawed, because it doesn't matter. If you burn one satoshi, the other satoshi becomes more valuable. And yeah, but I think if you burn enough, like if you burn too many, there's no satoshis anymore for you to do anything. So
I already think we're very, the satoshis are scarce as they are.
I also think that. I think you should have more satoshis.
We probably like 1 order of magnitude more. Like that would have been great. Because now I think if I look at it now, it's like, yeah, maybe. But if we had 10x more, I would be like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Because now if you divide it by the population, it's just simple napkin math. But if you divide it by the population, it's like 300k satoshis or something, 200k, that range, a few 100k satoshis per person. So yeah. if you want to, okay, so now now it's defining economic relationships. What is your resolution? Well, not all of a sudden your resolution isn't all that high, I think.
Yes, I also think that. Yeah, but that's why I think we will need like custodial solutions and ways to split the satoshis outside of the protocol. And that's not very good. But maybe you know what can solve this? Sidechains. You can make a sidechain in which as a Bitcoin is splitting like much more satoshis.
Yes. Okay.
Macro satoshis.
Okay. Yeah. So let me explain why I'm not interested in sidechains. It's because I think it's the wrong way of thinking. It's the wrong direction of thinking. I'm not saying that sidechains in themselves are illegitimate. I'm not saying that they're a waste of time. I just say I personally think if we're thinking about sidechains now and focusing on sidechains and these things, I think we've missed the point of what we can actually do with Bitcoin itself.
What can we do?
Okay, so
we
then
can't do anything.
No, I agree. We can't do shit. No. So what is the? So what is the perspective, right? How we started out using Bitcoin was 1 UTXO per person, 1 key per UTXO. Right? I'm sending you Bitcoin, was sending you, just handing over like as an output, putting you the 1 key as to the output, and that's your key. And it was in the transaction, and it was just probably it was 1 transaction with 1 input, 1 output, and then it changed maybe, so 3 outputs, but whatever. So 2 parties, 1 transaction, all the outputs required in relation to those parties, only 1 key per UTXO, etc. So that's how we started out. That's fucking retarded, right? And that's where
you can't go much farther than that.
Yes, but that's where the seed of the wrong perspective on Bitcoin started, because of this grug brain of using the system. And now it's still in the minds of people of like, that's how you use Bitcoin. No, fuck no, that's not how you fucking use Bitcoin. What is owning Bitcoin? In a concrete sense, what does it mean to own Bitcoin? When do you own
You ask
Bitcoin?
me. Well, you just said it. It's the private key, blah blah blah.
Correct.
Okay.
So you asked like, how do we scale Bitcoin? Get 100 fucking keys into a UTXO.
That doesn't work in practice
Why not?
because you have to agree with 100 people. I
Yes.
can't agree with one person. I can't agree with you right now.
No. Okay. So you're
A
wrong.
100 people that have to be online. Okay.
Yes. So this is what we discussed last
This,
week.
yeah,
So
this is the same talk.
yes.
Okay.
So because not running a node, what the fuck what's the fucking point of Bitcoin if you're not running a node? That's the whole fucking point of Bitcoin is that you
You're
are
such a
able to run a
maximalist.
Bitcoin.
Where are your laser eyes?
They're burning through the microphone right now. No, that's the whole point of the whole point of the system is that you're able to run your own node such that you're able to trustlessly or trust minimized interact with other peers such that you can discern or agree upon constraints, i.e. a contract. So you pre-agree on the constraints of the contract, and then the constraints of the contract guides the interaction among the 100 people. So if there are clauses where you have an exit clause, right, and you already predefined the exit clause, then I don't necessarily need to agree. So then we don't need to deliberate among the 100 people if I'm going to exit or not. There is a clause for that. And all the other people are like, okay, you leave. We'll
Okay,
keep
but
our money.
if you want to
You
encode
leave.
that
You're
in the
going to pay for the
protocol,
fees. Goodbye. We're going to spend the UTXO, create a new output that now has 99 keys instead of 100. As
okay,
long
you
as
can do that.
the
You can
coordination,
do that.
the coordinations and agreeing among the 100 people is facilitated by the constraints set by the contract that were agreed upon initially.
But in practice, I'm
Yes.
talking about practice.
Okay.
What you end up is a bunch of people leaving these things and forming others, and that will spend all the limited space we have. And each of these transactions will be huge, and they will happen all the time because all the time there will be people disagreeing,
There will
and you spend the entire thing.
the type of interaction that will occur on chain is the type of interaction that is economically viable to occur on chain. If we were able
Okay,
to, is Satoshi Dice viable on chain? No, because you're not you're gonna clog up the mempool instantly, and then you're not willing to pay those Satoshis anymore in terms of fees for the stupid application of Satoshi's Dice, right? Running a corporation and defining all the shit, the bookkeeping of the corporation inside of a smart contract, right? Is that worth it? Well, maybe. They're probably willing to pay for it. They're probably willing to roll over their UTXO every month. Just one transaction every month. Well, okay, we'll just pay for it. I mean, that's the fee market. And if your question
you know
is, but how are we going to scale
what
it for all the poor people who live in the Stone Age, like we discussed last week, I don't care about those people. Not in the first instance. Okay, make your side chains, make your state chains or whatever the fuck you want, make your custodial solutions such that people can, so we have this quote unquote adoption and people can do it. Okay, I just personally don't think it's interesting. I'm personally interested in how we're going to implement Bitcoin as infrastructure into our economic systems, financial systems, and monetary systems as like the structure of our fucking modern or neo-modern society. That's what I'm interested in. And I'm not interested
you're
in
very like John Carvalho,
no,
but
because am I? Because I think okay,
yeah,
am I I don't know, I don't necessarily know him. I don't know a lot of him. The things that I have seen of him, I think he's an idiot. But now
yeah,
I'm needlessly making enemies because like I don't necessarily think I have any grounds to say he's an idiot.
yeah. That says a lot about yourself. Like you may think yourself are needed, but you You need these people that you hate, these poor people. You need them
No, I don't hate
for
them.
for the for the like, okay, you don't hate them, but you don't care about them. You don't want to
Right.
build solutions for them, but
I'm not gonna build
you
anything
need
anyway,
them
so
to
it's
use to be in your monetary system
yes, I
for like
agree.
Bitcoin, for your Bitcoin to be worth anything, for
Yes,
your plans
okay,
of world domination to be concrete.
okay, that's true in itself. To what extent do I
And
need them though? Because they're technically marginal by definition.
no, you need them. You need them to be the slaves in your plantation or something like that. But you need them. You need them to use Bitcoin. Otherwise, you
If they're
won't be able
slaves,
to
why would
pay.
they need money?
Okay, half slaves, proto slaves, whatever, and they want to work on your plantation if they don't know if they can't use the Bitcoin you're paying them, and you also can't pay like you're super rich, you have 1 million Bitcoin, you can't pay them 100 satoshis to work for you if you can't make an on-chain transaction.
Okay,
So
I agree.
you have to build a custodial solution or something that they can or side chain that they can use. And
Sure.
also you can't expect everybody to learn how to run these things because the world needs division of labor. Like they need to focus on the plantation.
But
They don't. Uh,
they need to focus on.
you mean the Brazilians? Like they have to work making your shoes. They don't have time to be running nodes or learning how to do these things. No, not all people have the same gifts. Some people are born to run computers and servers. The others are born to make shoes for these.
Okay, so
Okay, I'm I'm not. I don't believe exactly in that, but yeah, something like that.
the caste system amongst fiatjaf. So we have the bottom of the caste. You're gonna pick cotton. You don't necessarily even need Bitcoin, and then okay, we have the next level of the caste. You're probably gonna use Bitcoin, but you're only gonna use it custodially. So you're not even you're, but you can LARP as if you're using Bitcoin, but you're not actually using it. Then we have the next
You are
level of the caste.
using custodial Bitcoin is Bitcoin.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I don't necessarily disagree there. Um, unless I fire up my laser eyes, then I'm like, I disagree. Um, but no. Okay,
Just
so
use PayPal. That's the time. Oh, you just
okay,
use
so you
PayPal
asked.
then.
Okay, that's interesting. So you asked like how we're gonna scale Bitcoin. Fedimint,
Yeah, that's your solution.
probably.
Mm.
Just what
Yeah.
I like because I really so it clicked for me not even that long ago. I think a few months ago. It clicked for me because the problem with Xiaomi and eCash was that you need to rely on the specific institution. So it's very difficult to make it broadly adopted because you have bank specific money, basically. So why would I accept your bank specific Xiaomi and eCash thing, dollar thingy? Um,
Yeah.
but the whole point with the Fedimint and then using it on Lightning and all that stuff is that I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think it's a good solution. I
And
think
that's amazing.
Lightning is a glue, the glue to
Yeah,
plug in
yeah.
different things. Like
That really
if you want
clicked
to
for
make
me.
a
I was like,
safe
fuck,
chain,
dude.
yeah, but my problem with Fedmint is that it sells itself about talking about the Xiaomi and stuff, but that's not what it does. Like the good thing is there is a federation thing that integrates with Lightning. If it's Xiaomi, Xiao, whatever, blinded, that's irrelevant
Oh, that's
to
just
me.
a
Like
so okay. That's
that's
a
like a
token mechanism, right? And it's a privacy preserving token mechanism.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
yeah,
nice.
it has this feature. Oh, it's private, yeah, but the point is that's a federation that integrates with Lightning.
I
But
I did I disagree that that's the point because I think that the federation part is the least interesting because I'm not even sure that I the uh
okay, so
what is
what's
the
the
added
part
value
that
of
is
what is the actual added value of the federation because I cannot you can spoof a federation. You can say, "Oh, this is a federation. It just so happens that it's only me."
yeah, in their marketing material they say that will be run by local communities, as if I trusted my neighbor to
Right. So your banks.
run my money.
Yes. So your
Yeah,
banks.
yeah,
I'm fine with that. But
yeah. I'm fine too. I'm
you
fine.
are a
Okay.
bank, right? And so the thing with and then sure, okay, then the federated part is just okay, we have a multi-signature mechanism here. Okay, cool. Um, is it gonna scale? Is the federation itself gonna scale? Well, that's very difficult because then at scales things anonymize, and then in an anonymous context, like, is it actually federated or is it just one nerd eating Cheetos behind his computer, pretending to be like 100 people? You don't know. So yeah, if it's local and you can run human-based trust systems, etc., on top of it as a layer in order to control it, fine, go ahead. And it's amazing that in the context of Lightning, I don't need to trust your local community bank thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. So
Okay. The maximalists will love this episode. We're just talking about how Bitcoin is very good. Have you seen that thing about Bitcoin being a weapon? Something?
nope.
No? From Jason Lowry. I don't know who this guy is. Yeah. Okay. So forget about it.
Oh, what's the point?
I don't even understand, but I thought you would. You like these theories of that make some analogies and something. So I'll link to you something later.
Is it an article I should read,
No, that I
or
was on
is
the
it a video presentation, or is it a presentation?
I was on the that Mackenzie guy. He interviewed me, and then he stated the thesis, but I
Ah,
didn't.
okay.
Yeah, it comes from this guy Jason Lowry. He says like he makes Bitcoin into a weapon of war, and explains all the thing about the relationships about between countries, and the war is a kinetical force that countries apply to each others, and then you transfer that from the a mechanical force into a hash force, and then countries start mining Bitcoin. It's a very messy thing. Yeah, doesn't matter. I want to know why you don't like drive chains. No, you just said it. Yeah, I think you started with talking about that side chains are stupid, but then in the end you came up with FedMint, which is basically a side chain, right?
Yeah.
And you
Okay.
like
So
it.
the thing is, I so when you mostly when it's about sidechains, it's about this notion of okay, we are restricted within the logic and stuff that we can do within Bitcoin. So just gonna we're gonna need to extend, or the global state is too restricted within Bitcoin, or a combination of the two, right? So it's those two things. So the global state is too restrictive, and this is like it can't scale. Not enough, not enough transactions per second, basically, and or I'm restricted by the logic, and uh, and then that's like the Vitalik move of saying we'll just make a virtual machine. The and I personally, so in regards to the logic thing, or the expressibility, you might call it, then okay, sure. I mean, I do honestly think we still have there's still work to be done there, and we have this horizon of simplicity, which is fairly interesting, but it might introduce its own issues that aren't not that we aren't necessarily able to solve, but make practical or whatever, and covenants and shit. But so okay, given that we are restrictive right now in the logic, but if we have sufficient logic within Bitcoin, then I don't I don't like the initial move of saying, okay, we're gonna have to expand global state, or we're gonna have to move away from global state, because then I want to maximize the thing that we're doing with the global state that we have, because it's very fucking expensive. we're putting a lot of effort into it, and I want to optimize every hash that miners are performing in order to maintain this global state as much as we can.
But that's what sidechains do.
No,
Merge mine sidechains.
no,
You
they
do all your stuff on your sidechain, and you commit all that to the Bitcoin chain, and you pay the miners so they can hash for you a lot of fees.
yes, but then it's okay. So and by extension, then I'm gonna create a sidechain. It's called a web page. You can just send money to my address, and I'll promise you to send it back, right? And then we can do all this fancy stuff on my website. I mean,
Yeah, I like that too. I actually did that
yes, I know.
myself.
What's Ethereum? What was it?
Ethereum.
Ethereum. I really like the logo. How much time did you spend on the logo?
5 seconds.
But yeah. So that's case in point, right? 'Cause if I understand correctly, you basically made that to make a point.
No, yeah, it was partly to make a point, partly a joke, but also it had like actual use cases
Right.
that I had in mind. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I said, okay, so it's not necessarily a waste of time, and it's not necessarily blah 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 blah. But I feel like it's a cop out, right? I feel like there's so much more to be gained if we understand, actually have like a paradigm shift or an understanding on what this thing Bitcoin is and how you'd use it and how you'd construct things with it. Then we can have some Cambrian explosion of smart contracts within Bitcoin. And I don't necessarily think we don't have the technical things in place yet to do it. But Taproot was a nice start. So was Segwit.
I don't think
but
I think there's not much more to discover.
fuck,
What
dude.
you think, like there will be some gigantic breakthrough that will improve the expressibility and of the Bitcoin contracts, that will be able to do something magical.
No, so there are. It's not necessary. There are a few things. So covenants and stuff would be nice if we'd have
Yeah, they
those,
would be nice. They would be
because
nice, but
yes,
you know,
but
you know, on Ethereum they have all these things. They can do anything. They can do anything,
yes.
and they haven't found a magical solution to scale Ethereum.
Okay, so it's
And they have tried. They have legitimately tried many things, and
yes,
they reached these ZK roll up things that are
yes,
very inefficient, and they think this is like the nirvana of
yes. But
things.
it's not about scaling anything. It's about defining economic relationships.
Okay.
And we now have, so we had Grok brain economic relationships, and I'm just gonna hand over a fucking UTXO to you. Good luck with it. Now we have more sophisticated economic relationships of, we have a payment channel among each other, and fucking hell, dude, we can make a network out of that stuff. That's amazing, right? But
Yeah, but it's a scaling solution.
no, it's not a
It's not.
fucking scaling solution.
It's a
That's
scaling
that's
solution.
my frustration. It's not a
Okay.
scaling solution.
So
It's
so tell me.
creating the economic relationships that were that were possible within the construct of Bitcoin itself, right? It's it's not a scaling solution.
Okay, you have to explain better. Like, what is this economic relationships thing you're
Okay,
creating?
so
Like you're opening new possibilities, or what is it?
no, it's just we're able to define them in the context of Bitcoin and that means that it's not necessarily bound by trust or third parties or all that kind of stuff. Or what I tried to explain last week, in the sense of that the what's the word? The word's escaping me. To make sure that it happens. So if a contract, if you break a contract now in the meat space, cops are gonna get you, and you're gonna be dragged into courts, and it's after the fact, right? And the nice
No,
thing
that won't happen in Brazil, at least. You can
right,
break any contract.
right, right. But and the nice thing about Bitcoin is that you put the constraints in front, and it's like magic. Bitcoin is like magic, right? Or smart contracts are like magic. And I really mean it when I say that they are like magic. So what is magic? Magic is this thing where you do an incantation, you do a spell, you do a ritual, right? On the full moon, you go to this place, and then you hit the magic box 3 times, and you say floobity floobity flop flop, and then when you do that, and it doesn't matter if you the good guy does it or the bad guy does it, right? The dragon will come out and will grant you a wish. Right? So we have this described set of rituals, and if you perform those, an action will occur. And once that ritual is performed, the action will actually occur. Right? So there's determinism there. And this is what we're able to do in Bitcoin, right? We're able to define these spells or these rituals that you have to perform, and then due to the fact of the decentralization of mining, the moment I publish that transaction, it's bound to happen, because there's bound to be a miner that's like, okay, I'll just take that transaction and include it to a block eventually, right? So it's still humans doing actions, right? People running machines, whatever. But through the decentralization and you get a censorship resistance, and then it becomes inevitable that it occurs. So we
you know what's an incantation like that you can do? It's called drive chain. Drive chain is an incantation like that.
Okay.
As long as you put the correct code in the protocol clients, then you can create a sidechain, and that sidechain will happen like magic. And inside the sidechain, things will happen like magic, and everything is the same. Like it's another economic relationship, whatever you're talking about, that you're creating. So I don't see why you would be against that.
Okay, so maybe we don't need any fucking logic within Bitcoin itself, other than the drive chain shit, the merge blind merged mining, whatever. And we can do anything among ourselves and make up whatever rules, and then we'll just do it via that, maybe.
You like the blockchain stuff, right? Apparently, from what you're saying, because Ethereum is also magic, isn't it?
Yes, but there it's blood magic. It should never be used. Turing completeness is blood magic.
I think now
every magician should be banned from the academy if they're using blood magic.
I like the idea of Ethereum. I liked it in the beginning, like the idea. I didn't know anything about it, but yeah, it has proven to not be very useful after all. The only thing they managed to make are these DeFi useless things.
Okay, so the thing is, so to get back, so okay, Ethereum tried it and that kind of stuff. Yes, but the problem is that you don't need necessarily all the tools and stuff that they have with their Turing complete. You don't necessarily need them. We already understand that the only thing you actually need are defining who can spend. It's like that's what it boils down to. And if you go beyond the restrictions that you already defined, you have to redefine your restrictions, and that's like spending it to another UTXO and changing the contract. It's So you don't need all these and all the stuff in between you can do in between, and you only need to publish the conclusion. So even that doesn't
Well,
doesn't
but
need to happen on
having
chain.
extra state is probably interesting, like state that is not directly ownership, like it's not just the ownership of the coins, but other things that flow around that you can interact. Well, whenever this state reaches this point, these coins will move, something like that.
Yes, but that's always. But what state is it other than it's always a human action thing?
No,
It's
it's
always
a bunch of humans. Like you could have like a stupid counter. Like whenever this counter reaches 100,
yes, but is it the
the
counter of
coins.
God? Is
No,
it
the
God's counter?
counter
It's God's counter. There's a
the
counter in
counter
the sky.
is made by like he's influenced by other people transaction, and then the counter increases. I don't know. This is just a stupid example, but
Yes, but it also always boils down to there is some other dude that controls that input. So that
yeah,
input
but
could
it's
just
like
as well
magic.
be a fucking signature. And that's
No,
what
there's no
distributed
dude.
lock contracts are, right?
Yes, yes, they are.
Yes. So we have that in Bitcoin.
But on Ethereum, you have state that no one controls. In the ideal Ethereum, right? But you have you have a state. You can have a state that no one controls. That's
Yes.
influenced by the rules that you predefined.
Yes, but the problem there, if you do that, right, is that you're not running in a level playing field. So then you're running into this MEV problem. It's not a neutral playing field. Miners always have an advantage because they can fuck you over.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's inherently flawed.
Maybe, maybe.
Maybe.
I'm talking about Ethereum, and I don't like Ethereum. I like one thing
You like
called
Solana?
Hive Mind. I like Hive Mind. Have you seen that? What do you do all day that you don't read about all the nice Bitcoin ideas?
Is it a Bitcoin idea, HiveMind?
Yes, it's from Post Stores, whatever
Oh
his name
yeah,
is.
but I ignore all Paul Sports ideas by
Why?
default.
But now you're convinced that Drive Chain is good, so you must check his other idea that is much better than Drive
It's
Chain.
because Paul. First of all, I don't read, and most of what Paul does is published in writing. Second of all, whatever Paul publishes in writing is too damn fucking long.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But
So
you
if
don't
I
have to
don't
read
read in
that.
the first place, I'm not gonna read all that.
I
So
agree. I agree. People should stop writing stuff. There's no point. But Paul explains this in some presentations on YouTube and yeah, some other places.
but okay,
I just
what's the download?
I'll
What is
send you a
HiveMind?
link. Oh, it's the prediction markets thing. Like it's a system for making a prediction market in a blockchain because blockchain solves everything. It's like magic, like you said. And I think he says that, and I agree. That is the only thing that needs a blockchain besides money. And
I personally argue that the only thing that needs global state, because it's not about the block. It's about the global state. If you'd ask me, where the blockchain is very nice mechanism in order to
yeah, that's
administer the
true.
global state. The is domain names.
Yeah, that's also one. I forgot about that. Yeah, domain names. I like domain names too as a use case. And domain names, Bitcoin, and HiveMind. These are the three ones.
Okay, I'll
But I
see
think
if
you like HiveMind.
okay
I think you like.
I'll see if I can look it up, and then maybe next week you can bug me about HiveMind, so you drop the drive chain stuff.
Okay, okay. I like HiveMind much more.
Okay.
Next week we can play Starcraft game
Uh,
instead
no,
of talking.
no,
Uh,
we need to. No, we can. this is why it's not useful that you're not on your Windows computer, because now I was planning to play a Starcraft game, and then we can use that replay for the episode of next week. Because talking and playing is too difficult, especially recording, because you're gonna have the sound of the keyboard and stuff.
Yeah.
So we can just
No, yeah, I
play a
was
game.
kidding. I don't wanna play and talk. That would be much worse
Right.
than it already is.
So do we have any more comments on the game? Because I won.
No, I just want to close this game and never look at it again. Next time I'll make 80 probes.
Well, you only needed 61 to win.
Yeah. And you have a lot of minerals and a lot of gas.
You're very close to having about as much as the same. So, I mean,
And during the game, I had much more than you. So I won on that criteria.
Okay, wait. We need to let's see. We can have the overview. Nope. Okay. Let's see. So I mined more minerals. You had more gas.
Yeah, but you spent more. You spent much more.
And I spent much more.
Much better army.
I was surprised by my APM, because I didn't necessarily think I would get to like 141.
Yeah, me too. I normally get to 70. I'm getting better. You see,
Yeah, it's
in
good.
about 50 years, I may be on your level.
All right. So this was what was it? Bizarro-hashed podcast. What did Brian say? Brian said something that we should call it.
I didn't see. I see he saw he would put this on his feed, but maybe he gave up after listening.
Oh, we still have to ask what he thought about it. Okay.
I think he didn't listen. Okay, we can play tomorrow.
That's good.
Maybe.
That's good. Okay. All right. Well, thanks for listening to us. I don't know why you listened to us, but apparently you did. So, joke's on you. Goodbye.